What is up? It is AFALOZ. I am redoing the first the first two parts, which are like the first 10 minutes of my book. You can go check it out on www.afaloz.com on the blog section. The first parable is called Parable 1. It's released on 9/22/2025, Birth of Andakah. And my goal for this is to keep a solid and unchanging, even though I'm changing the format. I'm going to edit the website, right? So I'm going to edit the website eventually, but I want to keep a location where you get the unfiltered and unedited version of kind of my initial thoughts, my initial writing level, and you can kind of see how I progress throughout the years and how the story changes, how the story gets updated, and all the things that goes into creating a book. So I'm actually going to also use the painting. I don't know if it should be on YouTube as well as like shorts or like TikTok, and it's the one with like my giant face and like this picture that my daughter Lily sent me. She wanted me to draw this like cloud, and it has like some of my favorite pictures or paintings on there. I need to add something from Goya on that painting. I just haven't decided where I'm gonna add it. I'm taking a break on doing that painting. But anyway, let's just get started. So it's 6:45. So I'm gonna this one's gonna stop at 6:55, and then I'll start, the second part next. Now it's 6:46. So at 6:56 I'll stop. Jesus. The one above truth and objectivity, Parable 1, continuous action causes reality to materialize. A natural disaster, a kindred apparition, her. Pass. If you want to read this, it's on my website. A seed can only grow when love and luck nurtures it, 7 whispered. Her brain kept going back to her gardening days. The room was quiet. A beam of light emerged on the ashen table. 7 looked for its source, and it was straight ahead of her. A speeding basilicar had zoomed through a resting cloud, laying its head on the giant megalithic structure that is Ten-Eyed Tower. 7 raised an eye as the beam landed on a note, highlighting its denizens. Have at a minimum 7 different types of chairs for the family. P.S. She wanted to think about it. Why 7? But she got distracted by the dust dancing between the shadows to read into it. She thought about the pounding on the table and making a beat for her private dancers. 7 let out a giggle, maintaining her hands on her lap underneath the table. She was the first one at the corner office of the newly constructed tower. So much time had passed since she arrived that she began to have thoughts of her family and her father. That's beautiful, Sevi. Where's that quote from? A quiet and serene tone filled the air. Ob. 7 turned her head up so fast that she didn't realize how close her sister was. She had to grab the bottom of the table to stop her chair from swinging and hitting her precious sister in the face. 7's hand slammed underneath the table and made a thud. Jesus, Ob, can you not? Said 7, as she removed her hand from the table and grabbed her heaving chest. Her breathing was constricted due to her uniform. Jesus, 7, can you not wear work clothes to a will reading? Ob said through her smile. 7 slowed her breathing down as she heard the others come in. She saw her sister smiling, and it warmed her heart, but she avoided looking directly at her sister in her piercing green eyes. Sorry, Sevi. Didn't mean to eavesdrop on you. I was about to say hello, but I didn't want to stop your poem. Is there more to it? Ob said with a confused look, her long hair swatting 7 as she grabbed the closest seat. 7 stared at her sister's long curly hair. They were ombre today. She wondered what they would be like. What they would be like the next day or the day before, but her brain snapped back and she realized her sister didn't know their own father's words. None of you ever cared for him, 7 thought. It was Dad, Obi, 7 said in her most official manner, the voice she used to carry out sentences, the voice she used when she ended lives, the voice of an arbiter, cold and empty. Ob hugged 7 tightly and whispered, I understand, Sevi, this is hard, but we have to get over this so we can properly mourn Dad. We can go watch those super old movies he loved, the ones from his grandfather's time. You know the ones. She then reached towards the middle of the massive table and grabbed a napkin for 7. Oh God, you two are already crying? Seven knew exactly who it was. His fake, deep, and callous voice worked overtime to hide his feelings from surfacing. Torja, Messiah being a bitch, Seven thought. Shut up, Dorj Mahal. Let them cry. Dad is dead. You gonna say that when Mom comes here? Another one. It's Torja, the Messiah of the Ring, Sakura. You all make fun of my branding, but I don't remember anyone giving you guys shit for your plans. Voice of the people, princess, his eyes jolted to Seven, murderer. He laughed and continued, if anyone ever saw you for who you really are, Sakura, they wouldn't be so quick to label you something so unlike you. Torja laughed and sat down across from Seven. He had on one of his fighting capes and a golden suit underneath. He displaced the dust and blocked the light with his link. Seven fought to get her sister's hair out of her face before she could properly address Torja. Move, or would you like to see why they call me that? Seven gave him a cold stare. Her brother jumped to the next seat with feral speed. Sakura bursted out laughing and sat next to her brother, away from the light chair. You look beautiful as ever, Sakura, blushed Obe. She let go of Seven and grabbed her sister's hands across the table. Large popping noises echoed in the room. She had dislocated her shoulders to reach Sakura. Can you not do that, Obe? It's fucking disgusting. But while we're talking, I need you to listen to me. Can you please, for the love of all that is holy, shut the fuck up on AFALOZ? I do not need my own sister, highest viewed fucking creator on that dog shit platform, to be speaking ill on me in my moment. Do you understand me, Obese? Sakura stretched out the last bit as she threw her bag on the table and rubbed her face incessantly before crossing her arms. Her face was flush. She looked like she was seething. Always so loving, sister. Obe retracted her arm and fixed her shoulders. She slumped down and sat in the chair. I wasn't talking bad, Sachi. I was just explaining what you all... She whispered until she was interrupted by Sakura, slamming her hands on the table. Her eyes were erratically switching back and forth, searching. Sakura's blue eyes were being overtaken by red. Malice from the looks of it. Seven knew that she was going to do it. Sakura threw a coaster at Obe, but Seven caught it and put it on the table, staring at her light beam. Obe ignored her sister and began to have small talk with the now focused Seven, mainly on what movie to watch and whose house they would go to. In between her sniffles, Seven felt bad and decided to entertain her, again. Crying over her, but not Dad. It's so you. The last of the siblings and their mother arrived with the lawyer. Their mother was embraced in darkness. A flowing black dress and a shawl over her now ashen hair, aged like the bonsai that littered the room, gracefully and attentively. You would think that she was a shadow with how dark her dress was. Only her fair skin and excessive jewelry showed any light, yet her hair weaved through the night like comets. They walked in one by one with the Adam lawyer first, who went straight to her seat. Mother, Narab, and the twins Aaron and the most loved Juniper. Seven looked down as her mother made her way and sat down to Torja, blocking her light. Narab, Aaron, and Juniper just stood behind their mom instead of sitting at the open seats. The lawyer who goes by the name of Akata Zulin fixed her glasses, sneezed, dropped her glasses, and ruffled the papers in front of her before she fixed her glasses once more. Afterwards, she pressed her intercom and buzzed for better chairs for the three standing, but Narab had already signaled her to press on, his hands covered by his new allegiance, Seraphate. It's a giant gaudy emblem sticking out like a piece of shit in a bucket of water. Seven chuckled. After signaling Agatha, Narab walked away from the group and walked towards the window. 1,000 floors for each year of rain. Narab must be seeing Earth from the heavens right now. It's bad enough to do this in this damn closet. Get this over with, Agatha. Narab whispered with nettle in his voice, his back towards the group, his hand reaching towards the bar by the window. This was the only room that's been debugged and approved for this type of conversation. Your father wasn't supposed to die until the completion of the tower at a minimum. Agatha stumbled and then mumbled her words before she made sense again. Miss Alhafa-Zudalos, I sincerely apologize for my callous tongue there. Mr. Alhafa was very strict with what we could do while he was alive. You're all probably wondering why it was done this way. Well, was his final request. All 8 of them stared at Agatha. Her sweat rolled down her face and fell towards her neck. Agatha fumbled around the papers again. The room ruminated. Even Seven deliberated on what their thoughts were. Will they get their shares? Who's the new CEO? She studied who she could see. Aaron bit his lip. Juniper twisted her hair. Thor bit his fingers. Sakura gave a death stare to Obe. Agatha broke the silence and contemplation with her scraggly voice. She adjusted her seat and buzzed for her atoms to keep the floor secure. Okay, that's actually where I stopped the previous one. I do remember. So I'm redoing these because the sound was like really bad in the other one. I don't know why, because I'm still using the same mic and I'm still using the same camera. but I was like filtering it through OBS, and excuse me, and it just sounded bad. So I was like, you know what? They don't really. You guys like don't really need to see the words on the thing like on the same page, and I should just record this like how I record my AFALOZ in a daily. And if you want to like read this for real instead of just like hearing me stumble through my words, check it out on www.afaloz.com. It's where I'm going to be posting all my chapters. I actually just started writing again for chapter 2 today, or parable 2. I'm going to try to release it by Christmas, or no matter what, I'm going to release it on Christmas, and no matter what I get to, it's just what it's going to be. And then like I'll add on as I finish the chapter if I don't actually end up finishing it. So what is happening now is that the first, probably this one and the next one, have been edited somewhat. And by edited, I mean when I put like a situation happens, I'll just add like more detail. So my first round of like editing, or like my way of thinking is that I do a lot of like, they solemnly said this, they said this in a stark way, they said this in a gloomy way, you know, a lot of like descriptive verbs. So what I want to do, instead of using those what people would call crush, I'm sure I'll like leave some of them in just because for like speed. What I'm doing now is or whenever like I end up editing, I'm going to go back and like add more description of like, you know, their brows furrowing, or maybe they're sweating, or maybe they're fidgeting or something, you know, like just a little bit nuance. And I'm just going to be adding. Like the first parable is already 35,000 words. I'm hoping to get each parable to 40,000, and I'll lengthen and like kind of shorten as I see fit. But the overall goal is to get it to 40,000 per parable, and then that's gonna kind of change through. So there's 4 sections. There's past, present, future, and quantum. Right now, we're gonna be mainly going through the past and the present, and the future and the quantum are like unstable. So eventually, as those stories, like these 2 stories dwindle and the other 2 stories like take over, we'll like be shifting through, and then anyway, what I'll be doing though is I'm only just gonna be adding. I think after every 3 parables, I'm gonna go back and just edit, and then post it on the website, of course, with the new edits. And then from there, then start chapter or parable 4, 5, 6. Then edit those 3. Then go like every 3, I'll do an edit. Then every 3, I'll do an edit. So I'll keep it at that to just let the story marinate in my head and allow me to like reread the story and reorient myself, make sure I catch, because sometimes especially if it's going to be like this long, it's really hard to like keep consistent right now. But what I'm mainly doing is just really trying to get in the habit of writing and get into the habit of having strong characters, but also like have a strong plot, and really enjoying the journey. So I have like a lot of plans for the story. I have a lot of plans for the overall like world that I'm building. I don't really plan on writing a lot of stuff. I only really plan on like writing this and that. By I know it doesn't make sense right now, but it's a lot. It's a lot of story to tell, and I don't really know how to tell it yet, but I'm like working on it. But from there, I want to like put it into different media. Once I like iron out the story, it's gonna go into different media. But for now, it's just all about writing and trying to figure out writing. And this way, it's just for me to like crystallize my thoughts and keep it like kind of like a memory journal of like what it sounded like and what it looked like. But now I'm gonna read the next 20 minutes, or the next 20 minutes. I'm gonna do 10 more minutes, and another 10 minutes, and then I'm just gonna keep recording from there. And these will be like kind of replacing AFALOZ in a daily until I'm done with parable 1, and hopefully I'm done before Christmas with like reading these. So then I can go back to AFALOZ in a daily, and then from there I'll do the same thing to parable 2 without doing any edits. So you guys are gonna see so many inconsistencies, so many wrong things, but you at least kind of see the process of like what this like really looks like. So if you like what you see, like what you hear, go ahead and subscribe to AFALOZ. We have a bunch of different types of content. We're a family. We're just like making stuff for free, and we're trying to give back in the best way that we can. It's not like anyway, but I have like a whole different spiel. But all right, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go read another one.